I'm going to be doing the 4.4 course practice quiz for the final, and let's start. This one's all about like optimization and the surface area thing. So here the first question, they're asking us what's the surface area of a open top box. Now for an open top box, we have this surface, the back surface that looks exactly like this one. It's open top, so we don't have a top, and you have the bottom. So the bottom, we leave it by itself, because here we have, it's a square. It has a square base. So you have four sides. Oh, you have this side on this side. So you have four sides on the sides, or like you have four faces on four sides, and you have the bottom of the box since it's open top. So you're gonna have the four sides are a rectangle. So x times h. So you have 4xh. And the base is gonna be x times x. So x squared. Now in terms of x, so they want in terms of x. So they told you that the volume is 32. And we know that the volume of a square-based box is x squared h. It's length times width times height. If it's like rectangle. But here, since it's a squared, it's x squared h. So h, and they gave you that this is equal to 32. So h is equal to 32 over x squared. Now, next part, they're asking us the surface area. So we can do this formula, but replace h with this. So 4x into 32 over x squared plus x squared. So now 4x, the x here is going to cancel with one of the x's here. And now 4 times 32 is 128. I should get 128 over x plus x squared. And that's it for this question, or for this part. Now the next part, they're asking us to derive it. Anytime you have something like this to derive, it's just going to be the negative of the top. Like literally going to be the negative of the top, and the bottom becomes x squared. Now the case is different when it's when you have different number on the bottom, but most times it's just going to be the negative and you add a squared to the bottom, and this x squared is going to become 2x. Now you equate this to 0, because this is the next part, and then you move 2x to the other side, so it's going to negative 128 over x squared equals negative 2x. Negative will cancel with the negative. You're going to then cross multiply the x with the x squared, so it's going to be 128 equals 2x cubed. Now 2 will cancel with the 128 to become 64. Now x becomes 4, like when you put it into your calculator. And that's your answer. Now the height for which the surface area of the box is minimal is, now we know that the height is equal to 32x squared. And we know x is 4, so you could replace this with 4. 32 divided by 16 equals 2. So that's your height. Moving on to the next question. You have a rectangle and it has a constant perimeter. So you have a nice rectangle. You have the width and the length. So they want when the area is maximum, the length is something and the width is something. So when you have a perimeter, what's perimeter? It's the 2 times width plus length. That's what perimeter is. And they're telling you it's constantly 28. Now, so it's width plus length. The width plus the length has to equal 14. So now we have to take different cases where we add width plus length and they give us 14. You have 7 and 7. Oh, but you're going to multiply them because they want the area maximum. 7 times 7, you have 6 times 8. You have 5 times 9. You have 4 times 10. Then you have 3 times 11. 2 times 12. And then you go back to 3 times 11. So you repeat again. So this is going to give us 49. This is going to give us 48, 45, 40, 33, and 24. So in which case do we have the area as maximum? It's in the 49, of course, this one. So our length would be 7 and our width would be 7. And that's it. Moving on to the next question. Okay, so here you have a square of side x. A square, and side x is removed from each corner. So here you have x, 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 and x, x. Now, they tell you that the top measures 21 and the width is 8. This is supposed to be a rectangle, but I made it square. Yeah, it's a rectangle, sorry. Anyways, so the height would be x. Because when you fold this would technically be your height. Now, how do we find this? This is not 21 because you remove 2 x's from it. So it's 21 minus 2x. Same here, you remove 2 x's from it. So it's 8 minus 2x. Now, we need to multiply everything to find the volume. Because I told you it's length times width times height. So it's x into 21 minus 2x into 8 minus 2x. And then you multiply everything on your calculator. First, you multiply it becomes 21x minus 2x squared. When you multiply this into 8 minus 2x. Now you distribute. 21 times 8 would give you 168. X. Then minus 42x. Minus 16x squared. Oh, this is x squared also because it's 21x times negative 2x. And here would be 16x squared. And here would be positive 4x cubed. So now these, you just combine them. They make 58. Negative, of course, x squared. Then here you're going to have 4x cubed. And here you're going to have 168. And that is your answer for the volume. Moving on to our next question. Okay, so here you have a volume of an open box. So what's it called? You have a space. The volume is 810 and it's a square base. So the base's area is going to be x squared. The area of the base is going to be x squared, and they told you x is 9. So it's going to be 9 squared, which is 81. And since the base is x squared, now you need the height. And that's the formula equals 810. And you know that x squared is 81. My bad. 81h equals 810. So h equals to 10. And that's your answer. Now, moving on to our next question. You have a rectangle that has a constant area of 16. So this is your width and this is your length. And the width times length equals 16. When the perimeter is minimum, the length is, so what width and length can give you 16? It could either be 4 and 4 or 8 and 2. So when you add these and multiply them by 2, because remember perimeter is 2 times width times length, width plus length. This gives you 16 and this gives you 20. Where is it minimum? Here, 16. So the length is 4 and the width is 4. Now, moving on to our next question. You have, this is the exact same question I just solved, except this is an actual square where you removed x from each corner. And all sides of the square is 30 minus 2x and 30 minus 2x. And of course this is x, the height. They even gave it to us, the box of height x. So then we're just going to do 30 minus 2x times 30 minus 2x, which is the same as 30 minus 2x squared into x. So 30 minus x into 30 minus 2x squared, which would be, this looks like a minus b all squared, which is a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. So here we're going to get a squared as 900 minus 2ab, so 4 times 30, which is 120x, plus 4x squared. Now we have to multiply the x and distribute it. So it's 900x minus 120x squared plus 4x cubed. Now you have to derive once. So it's going to be 12x squared minus 240x plus 900. Plus 900. Now we're gonna put this and equate it to 0, so you're gonna put it into the equation solver in your calculator, which is mode 5, 3. Now when you put it in the equation solver, you're gonna get x is equal to 5 or 15. Once you get to this point, I need you to derive this again. So you're gonna get 24x equal minus 240. Now, when you replace this x with 5 or 15, is the answer a negative or a positive number? When you replace it with 5, it's gonna give you a negative number, and when you replace it with 15, it's gonna give you a positive number. When you have a negative number, that's the maximum, and when you have a positive number, that's the minimum. This works in reverse for the double or second derivative. So when you do the derivative twice and you get a negative number, that's the maximum, and when you do it twice and you get a positive number, that's the minimum. So the volume where the open top box is maximum is gonna be 5. Moving on to our next question. This question is the exact same, you just double everything in the last question. Like here, it's the exact same numbers, except this you don't double it, the rest you double it. And then even the answer is gonna be doubled, but I'm gonna explain it really quick. So it's 60 minus, you could skip over this question if you understood the last one, because it's the exact same. Now this one, you're gonna do a squared, which is 3600, minus 240 x, and minus 4x squared. Then you multiply all of this by x, so 3600x minus 240x squared minus 4x cubed, and then you equate this to 0. You derive it. Then you get negative 12, or this is positive, sorry, because it's minus first then plus. So you get 12x squared plus, or minus, sorry, now it's minus 240 or 480 x, and then you do plus 3600. Then you equate it to 0. Put it into your calculator. Your options are going to be either 10 or 30. Then you derive it again. 10 is going to give you a negative number, so it is the max. And that's it. Moving on to our next question. In this question, we already solved it. It's the 30 minus 2h question. The exact same one, 30 minus 2h, except they named xh in this question. The exact same question though. Even the exact same answer, which is 5. The only difference is they solved it in a different way. Here, you only need to know that they took out, look, so how did negative 2h, or like how did 2h go to being h minus 15? How did 30 go to being 15? They divided it by 2. But when you divide it by 2, you have to make sure like you account for the squared. So when you divide it by 2 and you need to take the 2 out, you have to square it before taking it out, so it becomes 4h. That's the only trick in this question. Rest, you could solve it in the way we solved it, but if they don't give you these steps, if they give you these steps, it's the exact same thing. It's just like you have to just abide by the way they solved it. Like, see, they got 15 and they factorized it to get 15 and 5, and the answers are the exact same. Moving on. The surface area of a cylinder. Okay, so we solved this question in every AMS, but it's really easy. Let's solve it again. So they already gave you all the formulas. The surface area of a cylinder is this, and its volume is this. And they gave you, if the volume is equal to this, what's the height? So when we find this, like, you just do 2000 pi equals the formula you're given. So pi r squared h. So basically, h is going to equal to 2000 over pi r squared. And then pi is going to cancel with pi. You're left with 2000 over r squared. Then here you're going to substitute it in the surface area equation. So which basically means you're going to have to multiply it by 2. So it's 2 pi r 2000 over r squared plus 2 pi r squared. So r is going to cancel with the r squared, and then you're going to get 4000 pi over r equal or plus 2 pi r squared, which you're then gonna later on derive. So this is the same question. Now you're gonna derive it. I already told you when you derive anything like that's over r, it's just gonna be negative and you add a square to the r. And this one's gonna become 4 pi r. This one you derive normally. So now you can equate this to 0, which they do in the next part, where you equate it to 0. You literally all you're doing is you're moving this to the other side. So it's 4000 pi over r squared equals negative 4 pi r. So now you're gonna, what the hell happened? Pi cancels with pi, negative cancels with the negative. Now 4, and now you're gonna multiply the r squared by the r. So it's 4 r cubed equals 4000. Now 4 divided by 1000 is r cubed equals 1000. So r is equal to 10. And that's it for this question. And the second derivative is always going to be positive. So the minimum surface area is going to be 10. This answer is always positive, and the answer is always 10 in the exam. No, the answer in the exam is not 10, but the first one's always positive. Okay, now this question, it's a bit tricky, but you need to focus. It's really easy, actually. So you're gonna have a girl that's riding home on a boat. So they're telling you she's 2 kilometers from the nearest point on A. From the nearest point A on a straight shoreline. Down the shore, 8 kilometers from A is his home. He can row 7 kilometers per hour and run 9 kilometers per hour. Let's X denote how far he is from his boat. So we know that this is 2, and this is the distance X, how far he is from his home. And then in this part, they're telling you it's 8. The whole thing is 8 minus X. Sorry, the whole thing is 8. This section is going to be 8 minus the part that he's going by boat. So this is just a right triangle, basically. And to find the hypotenuse of a right triangle, it's the square root of 2 squared plus x squared. And 2 squared you can be replaced by 4. And they're telling you this part is the part where he's rowing, and this part is the part where he's running. So basically 4 plus x squared under the radical sign, he can do it in 9 kilometers per hour. This is the distance. Distance divides speed gives you time. They want the time. So divide by 9 plus 8 minus x, divide by 7. Because that's how fast he can, here he can run 9. He can row by 7 and run by 9. So now that's it. Now to derive it, you need to derive them, of course. So to derive it, it's 4 plus x squared half. You need to apply chain rule. And then you multiply, so it's half into 4 plus x squared negative half, because you need to subtract 1. And then you derive what's inside alone, so it's into 2x. So you're gonna be left with 2 divided by 2 is gonna give you x times the 4x, whatever this is, basically 4 in the negative half, which is you could replace the half by by the radical sign and put negative 1, which means either way you're gonna have to move it down with the 7. So it's gonna be 4 plus x squared and radical, of course. And then for the second one, you just derive it normally, because the derivative of this, you have to split this fraction up. 8 over 9 is a constant minus x over 9. The derivative for 8 over 9 is 0, so we forget it. The derivative of x over 9 is negative 1 over 9. So our derivative is basically going to be, so t prime equals x over 7 radical 4 plus x squared minus 1 over 9, which is exactly what's given here. Now they're just telling you to equate this derivative to 0. So you're going to do x over 7, 4 plus x squared equals 1 over 9. You're going to cross multiply, so 9x equals 7 into 4 plus x squared. Now it's gonna be 9 x over 7 equals radical 4 plus x squared. Now you need to square both sides, so it's 81x over 49 equals to 4 plus x squared. Now, okay, sorry, I made a mistake. So this is x squared. Now, we need to get 49 to the other side because it's going to be 49 into 4 plus x squared equals 81x squared. So it's going to be 49 times 4, which is basically 196, plus 49x squared equals 81x squared. So now we move 49 to the other side. 196 equals 81 minus, or 81x squared minus 49x squared. 81 minus 49 is gonna give us 32x squared. Now 196 over 32 equals x squared. You put this into your calculator. 196, or sorry, radical 196 divide by 32. You're gonna get 7 over radical 8, obviously. Now radical 8 can be rewritten as 4 times 2. 2 is basically 2 squared. 4 is basically 2 squared. So you could take 2 out and keep 2 in. And that is it. So this is your answer for x. Moving on to our next question. This is the exact same as the cylinder question we just solved, except they didn't make it equal to 16 pi. But anyways, let's solve it really quickly. Now, what's it called? We have a cylinder, and it can hold a maximum of centimeter cubed to its volume. So its volume equals 16. Now volume for a cylinder is pi r squared h. Now equals 16. So now our volume is equal to, or sorry, h is equal to 16 over pi r squared. Now our formula for surface area is equal to 2 pi r squared RH plus 2 pi r squared. Now 2 pi r into 16 over pi r squared. The pi is going to cancel with the pi is going to cancel with the pi, and the r is going to cancel with the squared, so it's going to become 32 over r plus 2 pi r squared. You're going to now derive this, so it's going to become negative 32 over r squared plus 4 pi r. Now it's going to be negative 32 over r. I'm going to change the color so it's clearer. Negative 32 over r squared equals negative 4 pi r. So now it's going to be negative cancelling with negative, and then you're going to have 32 equals to, or sorry, 8 equals to pi r cubed. Now 8 over pi is equal to r cubed, and r is equal to radical 8 over pi, which is equal to 2 over radical pi, or radical cubed pi, sorry. So now this is your surface area. Now you just replace this into this equation and you get the height. And that is it. Moving on. This is our last question. And this question is the exact same as the one before it. Like copy paste. Here you're gonna double it, so 6912. Then you're gonna do the exact same thing we did last question, except the pi cancels out at the end, and we already solved the question just like this. So I'm just gonna it's gonna be 6912 over r pi equals, or sorry, negative and r squared equals 4 pi r negative, but negatives are gonna cancel, pi cancels with the pi, and then it's gonna be over 6912 equals 4r squared, then 1728 equals r cubed, and then r equals to 12. And that's it for this question, and that's it for this quiz. Hope you understood everything. Have a great day. Bye.